Hey guys, my name's Doug with Infotainment.com. Today we're working on a 2019 and up Ram heavy-duty truck. This is the 2500 through the 5500. We have an exciting new upgrade here at Infotainment.com. It's the fog light upgrade. So many of you who have the Tradesman or Bighorn trim levels, you don't have fog lights. You have that big black plastic cap on your front bumper. We have a 100% plug and play fog light upgrade for you guys. It includes your LED fog lights with the appropriate brackets. We include all the hardware. We include all the plug and play wiring. And then we also include the bezels that install on the front bumper itself. Once you're done installing it, you don't have to go to the dealer. We offer a programmer by OBD Genie. So first you'll install the security gateway module bypass, then you simply just plug this in your OBD2 port and it will program your Ram truck's BCM for the fog light upgrade. So when you install the new switch, you'll press the fog light button and that will activate the feature. So again, awesome upgrade here. It's very easy to install. We're gonna show you guys step by step on how to do it. So let's get started. All right guys, now that I talked a little bit about the fog light upgrade, I'm gonna go ahead and have Alex take over and show you guys how to install it.
So the first step is to remove the existing trim where we're gonna install the fog lights. This is located down here and it's held on by 5 8mm screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one can be a little tricky to get to. So for this part, we're gonna use a series of open-ended wrenches to get the two top nuts right here. And this one down here. We'll use a 8mm socket with an extension to get this one up around here. And the one that's way over in the corner, you'll just use an 8mm socket. We'll go ahead and loosen these all up after they're loosened with the tools. There's 3 push tabs. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and start pushing it out. Can remove that slide there. Comes out just like that. So the next step, we're gonna add these 4 U-nuts into the bumper frame. These hold on to the bracket of the fog light into the bumper. So they get added in 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they just slide right around the frame. You want the opening of the U-nut facing in towards the fog light. After we slide the U-nuts into the frame, we're gonna wanna put our new fog light trim in. I start from this corner over here, and this should clip in with 3 snaps. Just like that. We're gonna go put our slide nuts back on the other side. So back on the other side, we're gonna go ahead and slide our slide nut assemblies back into their housings. So these just slide in, and then we can tighten up each one. And go back around with the tools. So the next part, we're gonna add 4 7mm screws to hold the light to the light bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. After we've installed the fog light into the bracket, we're gonna go ahead and put it into the frame here. Just line it up with the 4 bolt holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna take 4 10mm screws and fasten it to the frame. Take a 10mm nut driver to fasten all 4 down.
Now, we're going to repeat what we did on the passenger side on the driver's side. There's 5 8mm nuts.
All right, so the next step in our process is to go ahead and wire the harness up. This is the driver's side, and we're gonna go ahead and snap this on right here. After we do the driver, we are gonna send the remaining loom over to the passenger side by running it across the front bumper. We'll zip tie to the frame on the driver's side, and then scoot all the way over to the passenger side and connect the remaining clip to the passenger side here. So after we get done plugging in our lights, we're gonna run the loom through the firewall. To do this, we need to remove the fender liner. So to remove this, there are 8 8mm bolts that surround here. There's one 10mm bolt right there, and then two more 8mm bolts, and 2 of these Christmas tree clips. So we'll take our pry tool. That's what the clips look like right there. Set those aside. And there's one right up front here. There's one more hidden clip under this ledge right here, so go ahead and remove that. We're gonna go ahead and remove all these 8mm screws here. Just one 10mm bolt right in the front. Once we plug the lights in, we're gonna start to route our cable through the firewall. This can be pretty tricky, so take your time with it. In the main firewall harness, you can send these plugs straight through this rubber grommet here. Typically, I use a series of picks and hooks. So what I'll actually do is send the hook all the way through the firewall, grab the 2 wires, and pull through. So on the other side of the harness, there's a ground loop that we need to connect to this body ground right here. This is located right behind the negative battery terminal on the driver's side wall. So once we're through the firewall, we need to plug the 2 pins in that we just sent through into the BCM. It's a little difficult to show you in the truck, so I'm gonna show you on a bench. So I went ahead and pulled the ANC module out. It's 3 8mm bolts, just to make it a little bit easier access. So after we route the pins through the firewall, we need to locate the different banks that these will be plugged into. On the first pin, this is named C1A, so this up here is gonna be bank A. The next pin is gonna be C4D, pin 13. So this is bank D here. So once we get these unplugged, I'll show you how to pin them. So first step is gonna be, go ahead and press this tab down, flip the lever down, and take that out. Take your flathead and go ahead and pry this out just like that. And so we've reached the point where we're gonna put pin 1, C1A into this bottom left pin here, and go ahead and slide that in until it clicks. Moving on to bank D, down here we can see that it says D. Go ahead and press the tab in, flip the lever lock down, take this out, use your flathead again, pry this out, go ahead and slide this. So we will take pin C4D, pin 13, slide it in until it clicks, and go ahead and place it back in. To get these back together, we want to slide the hood down until it clicks. Press this all the way in. Do that till it clicks. Make sure you give it a tug afterwards, because if these are not fully seated, you'll have some electrical issues. So the two pins that we are plugging in into the BCM are going to be the top left and the top right. I've went ahead and put the pins in, and as you can see, we have the far left and the far right harness. If you remove this module, make sure you go ahead and put it back in at this time. So once we've pinned the BCM, we need to change out the controller for our fog lights. So this one does not have any fog light control, and we're going to be putting this one in, and you can see right there, that's the button for your fog lights. So go ahead and take a trim tool, push it in, and pop the whole controller out. Go ahead and pull this slide, this little red slide right back, press down, straight out. Go ahead and take the connector, press it in the new one. And this goes all back in one motion, and you're good to go.
All right, guys, I'm gonna show you how to run the OBD Genie programmer in the 2019 and up heavy-duty Ram truck. Now, in order to run the Genie programmer to enable the option that you're looking for, you also have to install temporarily a security gateway module bypass. Now, this is just installs temporarily just to allow you to program the vehicle's body control module for the specific feature you're looking to enable. Now, the security gateway module is located behind the speedometer, so I'm gonna show you guys how to get to that. It's not as hard as it sounds. The whole process, including the programming and reassembling, takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So let's get started. You notice it gives you a little bit of room here. All we have to do now is pull on this little panel here, just enough to loosen it up a little bit. Now what we're gonna do is pull out the speedometer bezel here. So what you're gonna wanna do is on the lip of the bezel here, to put your pry tool in or a regular screwdriver, you're just gonna wanna pry down on it to release the clips. Then just pull it out. You notice it just has retaining clips. There's no screws that hold that bezel in. So on the right side of your speedometer, you're gonna have the little part that you popped out earlier. You don't have to disconnect this, just kind of set it off to the side. Same thing on the other side, just pop that off. Set it off. Now you're gonna notice two 7mm screws on this instrument or this steering column panel. So you're gonna go ahead and remove those two screws. I like to go ahead and put the column down a little bit, but basically you just pop this out. And then you'll notice two lower screws on the actual speedometer itself, and then two screws at the top. So go ahead and remove those four. All right, now that all of our screws are out, we can simply just pull the cluster out, flip it upside down, and just temporarily disconnect it. Behind the speedometer cluster is where the security gateway module is located. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna disconnect those two connectors that are in the side of that module. These two connectors here will simply just plug into our bypass device. We can just set it back here. We can go ahead and install our cluster. We're just gonna set the cluster back in place. We're not gonna actually screw it in. We're just gonna set it back in place. Now at this particular point, now that the security gateway module bypass is installed, now we can run our OBD Genie programmer in the OBD2 port. All we have to do is put the vehicle in the run position, and then we can go ahead and plug it in. It takes about 30 seconds, you'll see a green light illuminate, and then once the green light comes on, you know you're all done. All right, what we're gonna do is go ahead and put the vehicle in the run position, and we'll go ahead and plug in our Genie programmer. You'll see a series of lights. As soon as you get the solid green light, you can go ahead and unplug it and won't be needed anymore. All right, we now have the solid green light, so we can go ahead and disconnect it. You'll also notice that your speedometer cluster and your infotainment system will reset as well. All right, guys, we went ahead and turned the truck off. Now all we have to do is just remove the bypass device, plug those two cables back into the security gateway module, and just reassemble everything. So as you can see, very easy to do. We've been in here for maybe 12 minutes. So what we're gonna do now is just kind of put it all back. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this closeout panel in. You'll notice how it kind of has this lip here. You're gonna wanna stick that in and then pop it into place. The other side is the same way where the ignition switch is. All right, now when you install the speedometer bezel, you're gonna wanna clip in the bottom first and then slide the top back and it'll pop back into place.
All right, so we just wrapped up our Ram 2500 LED fog light upgrade. We went from a plain black panel down there to a full LED fog light. Install was about a 5 out of 10, and only because we had to go through the firewall. We offer a wide range of factory accessories installed into this Ram 2500, Ram 1500, Chrysler Jeep Dodge, and many more. Check us out on Infotainment.com.